This is a Hall Safe and Lock Company combination lock and time lock. The combination lock is what was called their premier model double dial, and this one is from about 1870. It was later equipped with their single chronometer time lock sitting on top, and that would have been sometime around 1882. Now, starting from the outside of the lock to describe some of the features of this, we start with the lock here. This is a two lever lock, which is used to prevent tampering with the wheel packs, and also used to make sure that these two buttons here remain set to the way that the operator wanted it to be. Now, this really was more of an anti-tampering device, not so much a security device, because it is of a rather flimsy construction. But basically what it does is it prevents you from being able to push either this or this inward to allow you to unscrew the wheel packs. And also these holes here and here are what you need to insert a screwdriver into to open up the to unscrew these two screws and take the lid off of the front of this lock. So if you move this all the way up, now a shutter moves upward and allows you to access these holes. Again, anyone with just a common screwdriver could pry this upward very easily. But what it does do now in the unlocked position is allow you to push this inward or to push this inward, and thus allow you to unscrew this. Also, these two buttons here, when I try to do this without obstructing, you can pull these outward here or here. And what these buttons do is control how the custody of the lock works. So when this is, again, allowed to be locked, like so, then you have the wheel packs not able to be opened, and these then will be locked into whatever position it is that you have. So to remove a wheel pack, either one can just simply press the button here and then move, start turning this counterclockwise, until it is fully unscrewed from the housing. And there you have it. I now have removed both of the wheel packs and have taken out the screws. So we can now remove the front plate easily, like thus. And then this just comes away. And now what you have left is the inner portion with the two areas here that actually hold the wheel packs in. We're going to next remove this so that we can get a clearer view of the linkages that go between the time lock and the rest of this lock. In the meantime, I do want to show you what we were talking about earlier with these buttons. And I'll just move this out of the way. And here are the buttons here to change the way that the custody of the lock the combination lock is made. And here you have the rear side, and you can see, and I can move this completely out of the way so you've got a background here. So what these are spring-loaded, and they can then move back and forth. And right now they're not movable because this is still locked. If you take the key, put it in, unlock it, now you can push these in and out. And that is how the custody is changed on the lock. These little pins here go into recesses, which then control the lever system to change the custody of the lock. Now the 4 screws that hold this piece in here, here, underneath there, and here have been removed. And so it is a simple matter of just taking this piece out, and this then comes away. Now we get a full view of the insides, and here are your 2 wheel pack cam drivers, here and here. And this is the fence. This is your normal fence here and here. This is the 2 regular fences. And then you have your special secret combination fences here and here. Now, note carefully, this fence here has a row of studs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for each tumbler in the wheel pack. The reason for that is that if you move this over from here to here, you change by 3 digits the combination that is necessary for the secret combination. That's just another way of trying to foil somebody from trying to deduce the secret combination by saying, well, I know what the inside of this lock looks like, and I know that the regular fences here are on 12 o'clock position, and I know that the secret combination is at the say 4:30 position, and by deducing how many degrees this is over, I can then figure out what that secret combination is. Same thing over here. You can deduce that by changing this permutation. You can make it a little bit tougher for the person to be able to dial in that secret combination without actually knowing it from the Hall company. Now you may notice that this is kind of odd looking with a nut here. This is just simply a temporary setup that I have from behind in order to be able to move the wheel pack cam drivers by hand. So as it is set right now, you have basically both of the buttons would be in the out position because they're removed. These buttons would normally go in here and in here. So what you have now is a single custody, and that is just controlled only by this number 2 cam pack. A cam drive, which would normally then be connected to the wheel pack. So just to demonstrate real quick, once you have your combination dialed in, you are at the very end and you can then pull this in. Now the safe can be opened. So now the time lock is running, and I have it locked open, and that's what this little button does, so that if you wanted to, during the day, you could arm this, but if you wanted to leave it in the off-guard position, you would just lock this little device here. And if you wanted to leave for the day and you already had this set, and you could then move this over, and because the wheel packs are not in, they generally move these fences up just a little bit. So I have to kind of cheat and push this upwards so that when this is then activated, you now see the hook is now holding both fences upward, so that the time lock is on guard, and no matter how you are able to dial in the correct combination for the regular combination, you cannot get into the safe. Now, when this goes to 0, it will then push this hook like so, and it will then go off guard. It'll stay off guard because this will be pushing on it. So now it's off guard because we relocked it. Now, while I'm at it, I will explain what this is about, which is this little piece here, which you can move on a ratchet. It's a very ingenious little device. Again, if you can put this on guard, and you can say, okay, I would like for this to go on guard. It's right now set for a little over 4 hours, but say you change your mind and you say, you know what, I'm going to leave in 2 hours. Then you can set this over here like so, and these will then move in unison. So instead of this going on guard in 4 hours, it will go on guard in 2. And just to simulate that, I will move this forward, and I'll keep this up because, again, the wheel pack will hold the fence up. And now it is on guard. So you can change the time without having to redo the winding on this, which you really can't do. If you say you've wound it up a couple of hours more than what you wanted, without this little special device, well, your safe is going to be off guard for that amount of time, that extra 2 hours. You'll have to stick around or leave it off guard. And this way, you can just simply shorten the amount of time. If you want to lengthen the amount of time, obviously you just turn the arbor and wind this up another hour or 2 or 3, or how many that you really want to do. And now I'm going to demonstrate the Hall's infallible lockout system. This was necessary because it was used to override the time lock in case it failed. Of course, because there was only one timer rather than the redundancy of 2, that was, a much greater possibility, and therefore there had to be some way to override this time lock in case of failure. That was done through this secondary fence here, which contained the secret combination, and of course the permutations that you could do by moving these studs. So assuming one called the Hall company, or the Hall company sent out a representative, or however that was done, you would dial in the secret combination. And now you see this fence has moved upward, and that way you now have the proper secret combination dialed in, and you can see this hook is now being moved. And so now you have put the time lock off guard, overriding it so that now when you dial in the correct combination through these fences, you then can open the lock. And now you can see that you can turn this. You see now the fence has dropped, and because this is the only one that is in custody because of the way these two are removed, otherwise you could move this one over. This one would have to be moved over for you to have dual custody. But here you just have the one. So now you have this dropped, and you see now the bolt can be pulled back. Now, the obvious question to this is, well, what happens if, you have collusion between someone in the Hall company and the guy who's trying to break into the safe? Or what if somebody from the Hall company or even an employee or whatever gets inside this lock, studies it very carefully, and says, okay, I can deduce what this combination is because I have it or the boss gave it to me. And how many degrees over on the dial does this have to be in order to get to the secret combination? And in this case, of course, if there was dual custody, you would have the same situation. What do I need from here to about 4:30? What do I need from here to around 10 o'clock, 9:30 position here? And that can be fairly easily done. Now, the Hall's infallible lockout system had a special way of preventing collusion or the deduction of the secret combination. Okay, so let's say, again, you have your secret combination. You dial it in. The fence moves as so. And now you're able to continue turning, and this is now put off guard. Now, in the meantime, you're getting ready to dial in the combination, the normal combination, so as to be able to open the safe. However, if this is running, you're unable to do that because you see how that snaps right back? And again, if I move this upward, it'll go fully in. What you have is this is connected spring-loaded to a lever that is up in this lock. And that lever has a little hook on it that rides on the arbor of the contrate wheel that's connected to the balance wheel. That contrate wheel is moving counterclockwise. So that little hook is riding on that arbor, and as it moves counterclockwise, that hook is moving upward. And then when it moves upward, the spring, it leaves the arbor and snaps back. And that snapping back then causes this to snap back. So now you are unable to dial in the regular combination because the lock is now back on guard. If you try to do this over again, it'll do the same thing. You will not be able to have the secret combination function as long as the time lock is running. That prevents the collusion or the deduction of the secret combination. So now let's try this again with the time lock running. So now you are at the safe. You've got, you're armed with both combinations. So now you're dialing it in. And here goes the secret combination fence dropping. And it's going to now move the hook sideways. Okay, now you're going to try and dial in the regular combination. Well, as soon as you try to do that, this thing is thrown off guard, or it's thrown back on guard, and there you go. So no matter what you try to do now, you can dial in the right combination, but you're not going to be able to get it to open. Now you can try this cycle over again if you like and say, okay, now I've got it off guard. But again, boom, as soon as you start to try to dial in the regular combination, this snaps back. And now I'm going to demonstrate the changing of custody on this lock that was done through these two pins. And if you remember, those pins were connected to this here. So you had these two knobs here, which are connected through these holes here. So to demonstrate the custody now being transferred from this wheel pack here over to this one, we are going to pull this pin out, which is for number 2. We are now removing custody for number 2, which would be done like this, or I could just remove the thing completely, but that should do it. And so now, if you look at this wheel pack, you see the gate is not aligned with the fence. And so, and also notice I have this off guard. So I have this locked backwards because there's no point in trying to demonstrate this when it's on guard. Otherwise, you won't open it no matter what. So here you're winding your way around and you can't get it to unlock no matter which way you try and do this. Now, assuming the correct combination is dialed in here, and of course, as a demonstration, you know, we're assuming that when this gate is aligned with the fence, all the other 5 gates are aligned with the fence too. So now you can move this around and you go, oh, okay, there you go. Now it drops in. Now you have the fence dropping into the gate, and you turn the other way, and now you have the safe open. You see? You're now able to open the safe. So what's happened here is we have now altered custody from only this to only this. Now, again, note that in order to move the bolt backwards, you always have to do this slight left-hand turn on this one, because this is the only one that has a hook that connects to this. And now we've pulled the pin out for the number 1 wheel pack. So now custody is transferred from here to only the number 2. And that is again demonstrated by simply you're turning, so on and so forth, and then you get your proper combination. And this one, you know, it's a little tough to actually verify that, because unlike this one, you can't see the actual gate, and that's because it drops in from here into a recess, which is really behind this. And there you go. And you can see this thing is dropped into this recess, and that's where your hook is. And now you have your safe opened. And now finally we have both of the pins are in, which means we have dual custody. So both of the wheel packs have to be dialed in to where the gates all line up with their respective fences. So once again, if you try just getting it open with this one, this is no can do. And of course, if you try it with this one, that's also a no can do. So you're going to have to first dial in number 1 so that its gates are all aligned with the fence. And then you dial in your combination with number 2, assuming you've done your routine. And then you're finally able to open it once you've got this properly dialed, that combination properly dialed in. Now you can see that by manipulating this thing here, you're doing a whole lot of work on this lever work here, which is why safe makers always say be gentle with the combination, and that is particularly true with the Hall that's equipped with this anti-lockout device, because you are manipulating a lot of things and you don't want to fly through this thing and cause damage. I might also add that you have a serial number here, and everything is serial numbered. Every brass part here is serial numbered with this exact number, and then of course number 1 and 2, and that goes for the wheel packs as well as for the cover, and this part here for the collars. And then all of the silver part here is what goes to the time lock. That time lock also has its own serial number on the dial, and every single part that has to do with the time lock is stamped with the serial number that is on the dial of this lock. So these locks really were pretty much handmade. And because of the very close tolerances that you had to have with this being pushed upwards so that this would properly engage, as well as all of the anti-lockout system and so forth, there was a lot of handwork that was involved to make this whole thing work smoothly. It's a fairly complex device, and in its day, which was around, what was it, about 1870, this, without the time lock, costs about $500, and that was wholesale. So I imagine with the time lock, you're probably adding another $250. So that's a lot of money in that day. And that completes the demonstration of the Hall Premier double dial combination lock and single movement time lock.